welcome to the Nothing to Prove, Only to Share podcast.
Oh.
Yeah. Lars E. Larson.
Yeah.
Eric?
Lars Eric Larson.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Great to meet you.
Likewise.
I don't know much about you. I actually don't think I've ever seen you play even.
It's quite
Unless
possible.
maybe with Becky.
Maybe once
Maybe
with
with
Becky, it's
Becky,
possible.
yeah.
Cool.
You play with Becky fairly often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about you. Yeah. Tell me everything right now.
Well, I'm 36 years old.
What's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
Period.
Yeah. Should I get my co-star out? You can go
Will
deep.
you?
I mean, sure. Yep. I've lived in the Twin Cities for almost 12 years.
Cool.
I guess. And I've been playing drums, playing music pretty much that whole time.
Right on.
Yeah.
Were you playing drums as a kid?
I was. Yeah. My dad was a drummer when he was like in high school and through college. And so there were always drums in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I've got pictures of me as like a tiny little kid just like banging away.
Hell yeah.
I think you put one of those on your Instagram
Probably
a
on
while
the
ago,
internet,
and
yeah.
I think it was maybe for your birthday
Could be.
or something.
Yeah.
Cute.
Like damn.
Classic birthday
That's
photo.
a photo.
Yeah.
I love that. Were you, so like when it came to choosing, like what was that kind of like already, you were like going to be a drummer because your dad was, or what was the vibe?
I guess so. I mean, I think when it came time to like pick your instrument and for band or whatever in like fifth grade or whenever that was, it was like, I guess he already does it, so
Yeah.
sure. And there was like a requirement that you needed to know how to play the piano so you could play like the xylophone and the marimba and everything. And I had been taking piano lessons,
Okay.
so
Cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, really mentioned that you were star pianist.
Mhm.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing that for almost about as long as I've lived in Minnesota. So about 10 years
Cool.
or so. Yeah.
Love that. Where did you come from?
I grew up just outside of Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay,
in
so
a
close.
tiny little town called McFarland.
McFarland.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out,
Shout
McFarland.
out.
Go Spartans.
Go Spartans. That's the episode fucking title right there. Go Spartans.
I don't know.
So growing up, were you playing gigs or were you just like playing in the band?
Not really. I mean, I played, when I was in like middle school and high school, I played in like garage bands and rock
Oh
bands.
yeah.
And
Say that
stuff
with
like
pride.
Yeah. Oh no, it's fun. It's super fun. I loved it. And but I was playing mostly guitar in those
Oh,
bands.
cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a different time. It was a different chapter.
What kind of bands were those?
Like some punk rock bands, and then the one that when we were all like 16, 17, 18 or whatever, we were like, oh, this is gonna blow up. We're gonna get signed and we're gonna go on tour.
That's
blah,
right.
blah, blah. That was like a metal band, like a heavy metal band. And
That's so awesome.
now it's funny, like listening back to some of the stuff I used to listen to back then. I'm like too old and out of touch, and it's just like, oh no.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
What kind of music are you making right now?
It's kind of all over the place. It's a lot of like, I don't know, a lot of folky, country, Americana kind of stuff. It's a lot of songwriters.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Are you only playing the drums, or do you pick up a guitar still every once in a
Just
while?
for fun
Yeah.
on my couch.
Cool.
Otherwise, it's pretty much just the drums.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. And keys too?
Sometimes it depends on who asks and how empathetic they are to me not being very good at playing the keys.
I feel that so hard. I love that.
Yeah. So a little bit. I mean, I know my way around well enough, but I do feel like a fraud most of the time that I'm playing keys in a band.
Yeah,
It's
fair enough.
scary. It's very
I
scary.
actually just started playing piano, and Aurelio recently. I was like, I wanted to jam, but I'm a singer, so I wanted to just like sing. And I was like, Aurelio, come to the jam, and he was like, only if you're gonna play keys. And I was like, and I'm like not comfortable playing in front of people really. But he was like, that's how you get good. And
Yeah,
you're right.
That's
I
true.
need to
That's
just
a good friend.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The brutal honesty. Like, can you play 3 chords?
Yeah. The answer
Boom.
is yes.
Yeah,
Boom.
you got
Just
it.
hold
You
up.
got it.
Hold up. Boom. Boom. Boom.
Yeah. My thing with the guitar is I can only I only know my shapes and just like very basic like cowboy chords. So like if everything's in the G shape, like we're fine. So I just have to move my capo a bunch. It's like, I'm limited to like these keys.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's like, nope.
Yeah.
You got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
That's okay. Some knowledge is fine.
Yeah.
It does the trick.
Yeah.
We never did jam.
We never did. No,
It's not too late.
it's not too late. It could happen. Could happen at any minute, any moment.
Any moment.
Part 2 of this podcast.
Ooh,
Is the jam. Okay. Gigging. When did you start gigging? How did you get the gig?
No.
The gig.
How did you get the gig? I don't even know. I mean, I didn't really start like gigging in earnest probably until I moved here and became a part of a music scene here and met more people. But I went to like through college and graduate school, like there was a lot of gigging. Like we'd play out at the bars, we'd play at clubs and stuff like that. So it was like happening, but it didn't seem real, I guess, if that even is the right way to put it, until I moved up here.
Yeah.
And it became more of like, okay, I'm really trying to do this, and I'm trying to pay my rent with my drums and making a go of it that way, rather than just like, I'm a college student and I'm playing gigs or whatever,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
Cool. What did you study?
I studied music.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Aurelio prepped you for the success question, yeah.
I mentioned it in a text.
I'm sure that he did.
This
I'm
morning.
sure that he did.
I said it was the second message after the "Hey, we're at Richard's studio."
I maybe didn't read that
Also-
message, but it's fine.
That's all right. I
I'll
did
check
sort of
my
my
phone right now.
due diligence. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it got lost in the internet.
It's possible. I'm also
Doesn't happen anymore. I
really bad at, like, if I think I get the gist of something,
Yeah,
like,
you-
okay, yeah, I got it's over. So what's the question?
Well, I was thinking because you were just saying, like, what were you saying? It felt more real.
Mm-hmm.
I ask every guest to define success.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
And I feel like that might intertwine with what you're saying.
Maybe it's, I think how I would describe it now is pretty, because it's something I talk about a lot, actually. Like Nick and I talk about it a lot. Nick Salisbury.
Shout out.
Yeah. Shout out. Love you, Nick. Because he and I play, I would 9 out of 10 gigs that I'm playing, Nick is playing bass. So we spend a lot of time together. And we have pretty, I think our concepts and our ideas of what we want out of playing music are pretty in line. And that, like, my priorities now are playing music that I like with people that I like. And that's about it. And so, like, I'm doing that. And like, that's, to me, is like, that's success.
Yeah.
Like, are you happy? Are you having fun?
Totally.
Then you're doing it.
Yeah. When you were gigging in college, did you feel successful in that? Or was it just kind of like, I'm doing this in my free time?
I think I felt successful in what I had when I had it, but I was always wanting more.
Yeah.
It was always like the next thing, like, oh, if I could just get, if I could play in a band that would go on tour, like, then I'd be really successful. And then you get that. You're like, but if we put out a record, that, like, what? Oh, then I'd be successful. And then you get that, and then it's always like the grass is always greener. And so, like, when I was younger, I was always like chasing the next thing. Whereas like now, I'm more like, oh, like, I'm happy right now in this moment.
Present.
Like, this is really fun, and that's it now.
I love that.
Rather than like, well, I wish I had. It's like, no, like maybe I'll get whatever that is, but until then, like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty content.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
The cool stuff just kind of comes up. Like,
yeah,
you and Jack Klatt and Nick just did just open for Jayhawks.
yeah, that was fun.
And
Tell
that
us
was
about
cool.
it.
I feel like if that came in, if that sort of thing walked into my life, which it does every once in a while, maybe
Yeah.
not on that scale, but I feel that way. Like, I'll be sitting around like, wish cool stuff was happening. Like, I'm doing cool stuff, but like cool stuff could happen, and cool stuff just like shows up out of nowhere,
Yeah,
and it wasn't really something that I made happen.
yeah. You can, I don't know. I don't
Can't
know
really
that.
force
I don't know how much you can like set yourself up for, like, oh, maybe if my hat was a little bit cooler, I'd get
Right.
more gigs.
I
Or
would've
maybe
gotten the gig.
if I had the right shoes or like I don't know,
Yeah.
like stupid stuff. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you can't make it.
No.
Can't make it happen.
Yeah.
Aurelia just got a gig with Ani XO.
Yeah.
How did that show
Cool.
go?
It went
At
really
Green Room?
well. Yeah,
Nice.
it went super good. I always get nervous before like my debut with a band.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, like my first show, and especially like I haven't played like a green room sized venue in a while.
Yeah. Was it at the Green Room?
It was at the green room.
Nice.
And it was cool.
Yeah.
It went
That's
really
awesome.
well. Yeah.
Do you have more dates with
We're
them?
playing Day Block next month, and then the
Sick.
Lake Harriet band shell in August.
Oh, that's
Sick.
right.
I'm like stoked for it. It's
That's
like,
awesome.
Cool shit that I could have never planned on like
Never
doing.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
And
like,
like that stuff will lead to like
yeah.
that's like my experience with always been like, oh, like the guitar player in this band that I've never met or played with before, like we play this one gig, everybody has a good time, and like a year later you'll get like, oh, I got your name from that guitar player.
Yeah.
Like, can you do this run of shows? It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like snowball.
Yeah, it snowballs.
Mm-hmm.
When did that ever like happen to you when you like did that happen when you moved here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a ton. I mean, like that's entirely how like anything that I like any semblance of like a gigging career that I have now is just through like the recommendations of other people and like some people I met early on, and like I can probably pull the thread for most of it back to JT Bates was like a person I met super early on that I really liked and was a fan of, and then became buddies with, and like a lot of the work I got early on was through just like JT recommending me or just like mentioning my name to so and so if somebody was looking for somebody. So he was like an early champion
Cool.
of
Yeah,
my
good
playing.
guy to know and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Do you do
Sweetie.
jazz stuff?
That's what I was mostly doing when I moved to town.
Okay, cool.
Because that's what I got my master's degree at a jazz studies program.
Sweet.
So like that was kind of my focus, and then it's kind of like it was sort of a weird pivot that I started playing more like rock and Americana music and like backing up songwriters, and then that became like more of the focus, I guess, because I always liked that music. I was a fan of that music, but I just didn't have much experience doing it. I played with like a couple of some like touring sort of Americana-ish bands when I was in graduate school, but it was always just like, pretty, it was just like fun. This like fun thing I was doing on the side, but I was focused and serious and
Super serious.
studying music.
I was gonna ask about
Yeah.
the masters in jazz.
Yeah.
I think I forget who it was, but I think I was at Dusty's
Mhm.
and I was talking about you, and the person I was talking to, God, who was it? Doesn't matter. I don't think it mattered. They were just like, "Oh yeah, Lars. Yeah, that guy's got a PhD in swing." I was like,
No, it's just a master's.
just a master, not a doctor. But I'm like, what?
That's funny.
I had like maybe seen you 3 times, and I was like, a PhD in swing? That's a thing? I mean, I believe it.
That sounds that just sounds like really like cool guy talk. He's like, oh yeah, he's a doctor in swing.
Yeah, right.
Like, what does that mean?
And that's kind of what I thought. It was like, oh, this is like an exaggeration, but also the way it was said was like, he's got some sort of paperwork.
Yeah, there's some paperwork.
Some accolade showing that
according to the state of Illinois. Yeah.
this can swing.
Yeah. That's super funny.
But you do have a master's in swing.
I do, I guess. Yeah.
I guess.
Look at me now.
Swinging.
Swing. I hope so. Can only hope.
What are your weeks like? Like, are you gigging a lot?
Yeah, I mean it varies. It's like peaks and valleys, you know. There's usually at least 1 or 2 gigs a week typically. Sometimes it's a lot more. Sometimes it's every night. And then the piano side of my business or of my life is like I'm self-employed. I run that business. And I try to spend like if I have work out in the shop, which I pretty much always do, I'm working out at the shop 40 plus hours a week. So like I keep pretty typical working hours, office hours out there. But that's like the beauty of sort of making my own schedule there is I never have to say no to a gig to like, I don't know if I'm going to get out of work in time or whatever. I just leave.
Yeah, I gotta
go do it.
I gotta talk to the boss. I gotta see if he'll let me take the evening.
Yeah, I'm the best and the worst boss I've ever had.
Yeah. Do you enjoy self-employment?
So far, I mean, knock on wood, it's been going well.
Yeah.
But it certainly is hard. It's hard and it's stressful and it's at times terrifying. But I don't think I'd ever be able to go back to not being that.
Right.
Yeah. It's the rewards of it are pretty amazing. And if you have the right kind of mind and attitude and work ethic to kind of hang with the rest, then it's pretty awesome.
What does it take?
I think it takes a lot of kind of stubbornness. I think like too stubborn to quit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it takes like the amount of work that you think you're gonna be doing it's always more. Mm-hmm. You're always working more. You're always working harder than you probably thought you would be. And I think it takes, and like I would never describe myself in this way, but I think it takes a level of fearlessness. I don't think of myself as that way, but I think you kind of have to be ready to fall off a cliff and just trust in yourself. And
can I say that every Aries that I know, I call them a girl boss.
Nice.
Like they're all business owners. Girl bossing so hard. And the fearlessness, that is so Aries.
Yeah, I mean, you depending on who you talk to, who I'm sure I've had just panicked phone calls or conversations like, I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work. It's not gonna work. Oh my god! Like if they ever hear something, if me say anything about fearlessness, they'd be like, okay, I've got screenshots to show you. You were terrified last week.
Yeah, I suppose I couldn't imagine like being handed, because you just get handed like busted pianos and you gotta like
pretty much
fix them.
Yeah,
dude, I bought last year. I bought like a 40s Ludwig and Ludwig like Universal in New York.
Heck yeah!
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna clean it up and like fix it up. And then I took the hoops off and I just had the shell. And what am I doing?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Wait a minute. Whoa, this is not as simple as it. Like I tried to clean it once.
Yeah, okay. but that's the stubbornness that I'm talking about. Rather than being like, oh, I don't know how to do this, so that somebody else would do this. It's like, I don't know how to do this, but God damn it, I'm going to figure it out. Because if I don't, I'm not going to get paid. And like so there is like the underlying motivation of like, ooh, okay, well, it's got to get done. Mm-hmm. And there's like that's a pretty helpful driver for the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that weirdly, like, I mean, I got, pianos will just show up sometimes completely unplayable, and they need to be completely rebuilt from the ground up. But the work is the easy part. Like if the work is there for that's fine. Mm-hmm. I've been doing the work for 10 years. It's more so like the bringing in the work, like the business side of things, like the making sure everything is running smoothly, like dealing with suppliers, dealing with customers, and like it's just me at the business. So it's like
that's a lot.
It's everything.
There's a lot of
hats to wear.
A lot of administration work, a lot of
as we have learned about me from only reading half of your text message, I'm not the best at responding to emails or managing my calendar. So, it's been a learning curve, but it's fun.
Sweet.
Yeah.
The stubbornness that you were talking about, do you feel like you had to tap into that when it came to like trying to become a gigging musician? Or do you feel like that stuff kind of just came to you?
I think, it's funny that I don't think of the two in very similar ways. Like they feel pretty separate to me. I think maybe once upon a time I did have more of like the like small business minded approach to playing music, but I think I've kind of grown out of that in the sense that like I get two very different things from both of those paths, those professions, and like playing the drums and playing music is definitely the thing that like fills me up the most. Like that's the thing that makes me happy. That's the thing I want to like do to like fill myself back up. And then like I'm passionate about rebuilding pianos and working on pianos and the craftsmanship and like the intentionality that work takes. But that's definitely like my career and my job and my business, whereas like playing music is like, oh, this is this thing that I love, and I'm very fortunate that I get to do it professionally as well.
Yeah.
So it's like they're different in that sense. So like the stubbornness is, I guess I would see it as different now, but maybe it's there as well, and I'm just like a little bit like farther down that path that I don't think about it in that way anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, right on. Do you have any current goals in your mind for your business or as a drummer?
For the business, I just wanted to keep going. Like my goals are so like so broad. It's like, yeah, I hope I just keep going. I hope I can just keep affording my life and stuff. And like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. There's always, there's always room for growth in everything. And like every piano I work on, I learn something still. And you get better and like you just hone your skills even more. And you like, I have colleagues that do similar or the same work that I can bounce ideas off of, and I can learn things from them. Be like, oh, well, actually, I was doing it this way. And like I read in this journal that Steinway does it this way. It's like, oh, interesting. And then, so I don't know, you just like grow your skills. So that's a constant goal, is just to get better, to always be a student, I guess. And in playing music, it's the same kind of way. I don't think I have really like, I don't have specific goals in the sense that like, oh, I hope I'm playing with this band, or I hope I'm recording at this studio, or like nothing like that. Cause like we were saying, like that, it just kind of comes, and like be open to whatever does come. But I don't have too many specific like benchmarks or anything like that. So I don't know.
Cool. So easy breezy.
Oh.
I try to be. Yeah.
I'm still curious. I'm curious about the co-star app.
Let's bust it out.
At least the big three.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna guess.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
I feel like Libra is in there somewhere. Just like easy breezy, chill, charming vibe. Or
how do you find it? Chart.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Moon in Aries as well.
Crazy.
Ascendant in Leo.
Whoa.
Interesting.
You're like super. Does that mean he's like a super Aries?
So
What does it mean?
your moon.
Tell me what it means.
I love that you have this app. First of all,
Yeah, awesome.
the moon in Aries is like your emotions and your feelings.
Nice.
With an Aries, it means that your emotional self is independent, energetic, and enthusiastic. You have a tendency to feel inadequate and overcompensate just because failure is a possibility.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so true. Dang, they got my number.
I don't know how they do that. It's all fake. It's not real.
It's not real. How do they know? How do they know so much about me?
What the hell?
One time me and Aurelia played a gig in Duluth, and we were in a hotel, and I think it was that night that I read your chart to you, and you were with Alyssa.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I did.
And it was so like, it was so spot on.
Dang.
And he was like, fuck. Cause
yeah. I blocked. I mean, I remember that, but I don't.
you
Like
blocked it out.
and like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But,
No Libra.
No, thank you. No Libra.
it's compartmentalized.
Fair enough.
It's been locked away.
A lot of Capricorn, a lot of Aries. Respecting it.
That good?
That's what it takes.
Yeah, I mean,
Did I win?
For sure, you won. you go.
No, thank you.
Thanks for showing me that.
Yeah, for sure.
I should make that a requirement that every guest come in with their
That'd be fun.
birds.
You gotta download CoStar.
Yeah. So first, before you walk in the
Just
building,
to get the vibe, you know?
Everyone text your mom and ask what time you were born.
Richard, I don't think I know your sign even.
Richard, what's your sign?
Oh, you gotta know.
Are you a Libra?
No.
Aries.
Virgo.
Virgo.
What does that mean?
It means he's practical. Would you consider yourself practical?
Heck yeah.
Well, considering you're
Organized?
using my camera, my charger, my XLR cables, my camera plate, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Virgos.
or maybe we're just incompetent. We just need a lot of help. Maybe it's both.
Yeah,
I
or
don't
we
believe in
we know we can
astrology.
rely on you, and that's
honestly
also
I don't
That's
believe in
true.
any of that stuff. So hard. Like
you so hard
Spoken-
don't believe.
so-
Spoken like a true
I
Virgo,
do not
right?
believe in it. So hard.
Is it true? Don't know. I'm just saying stuff.
It's just, I think you can say that about any sign
No,
at
and
any
I-
moment, and
I
it just
love-
works.
That was so Aries of me.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Dude,
Incredible.
genius.
Yeah.
Where are we at with time right now?
25,
Okay,
26.
let's reset that
Yeah, hold
camera.
on. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Will you
Bam.
clap again?
So
Nice.
good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, where else can we go? What about, you had mentioned earlier listening to metal as a kid?
Yeah.
I want to hear like who specifically, and I want to know what you're listening to
gosh. What were the bands? Oh, there was this band called Between the Buried and Me that we all really liked. And one time I went to go see this bill in Madison. What was the name of that club? I don't remember. But I was like underage. I wasn't going to be allowed to get in. But it was Between the Buried and Me, the Dillinger Escape Plan, and this band called Horse the Band. And all three of them I loved. They were like three of my favorite bands. And so I was like, I gotta try to go. So I went to the door and I got to the bouncer and he was like, show me your ID. And I just like straight up lied to him. And I was like, the last time I was at a show here, I lost my wallet. So I left everything at home, and I'm straight edge, so I don't drink. So I didn't bring any money for the bar or anything. I'm just here to see the show. Here's my ticket. And he was like, all right. And he let me in.
Whoa.
And I was
Damn.
like, whoa, cool.
Nice.
And it was a great show. And yeah.
That's awesome.
So those were three bands that I used to listen to.
Cool, love that.
Yeah.
What are you listening to now? Or do you feel like there's anything like that you feel like super inspires your playing as a musician?
Yeah. I mean, it's tons of stuff. Like currently, right now, I can't seem to stop listening to the new Bonnie Light Horseman album, which our good friend JT was playing drums on. Sounds amazing. Like that record is pretty stunning. I listen to all sorts of stuff. A lot of the gigs that I do end up playing is I think I've sort of gained this reputation of being like a pretty reliable sub. Like we were talking with Richard before we started recording. I've subbed for Richard a lot. I've subbed for a lot of people a lot. And so it's like, it all kind of feels like a house of cards. Sometimes Nick and I talk about this a lot, where it's like, because he's deeper into it than I am even, where like,
He's the sub.
yeah. So we're like both kind of constantly learning the next set of songs for like somebody that we're just filling in with, or like someone that we're playing a gig with on something. So a lot of what I end up listening to is just the material of the artist that I'm playing with next,
Yeah.
which is like always great and interesting. But sometimes it's like, oh, I wish I could just listen to this,
Yeah.
this record or this whatever it may be. But yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of like comfort records and artists that I like to put on that can kind of just like zen out my brain and just
Richard?
Look on my microphone. No, I was just gonna try. That's a very relatable problem. For years, all I did was sub or learn new material, do one-offs. So the only thing like in my music queue was stuff I had to learn for the next show. And this year I've been pretty lucky. I've been mostly playing with one or two people whose music I already know. So I sat down, it was just a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I should listen to music. And I had no idea what to listen to.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
my whole brain was like, oh my God, I have the freedom to actually listen to something
Yeah.
that
Nice.
I don't have to learn in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's a weird place to be in
Yeah.
when you look at music like that, right?
I know. I played this gig just this past Saturday in just outside Stevens Point, Wisconsin. I was playing with this guy named Adam Gruel, who I've played with a couple times before. And the Space Burritos, yeah. and I was and it was like a whole different set of music, and it was like one of those things where I was like, oh, this is like, I was so happy that it was a long drive to the gig because I had 3 hours in the truck to like just listen on repeat to the playlist I had made to like learn this stuff. And that's what I mean when it's sometimes feels like a house of cards, because I had, 3 other sets of music to learn leading up to that, and then work in the shop. And like sometimes things can kind of snowball and get to a point where you're like, I hope I get away with this one. And it's like, but it went really well. And a lot of the tunes I had played with him previously, so it was sort of just like refreshing my memory. And then, but yeah, it's fun. I think it's fun. Yeah.
That was something I remember when you started playing again, or maybe not playing again, but just when I started seeing you play more with like Molly. I think it was a Molly Mayer show that you showed up, and I don't know, it might have been like your first time playing with them in a while or something, because afterwards I was like, dude.
Wait, sorry, was he playing when we went and saw Molly and Becky at White Squirrel? Remember that with Tina?
Yeah. No, I don't think.
No.
Was that with Tina Shaleski? Is that how you said Tina Shaleski? You've done it.
I've done White Squirrel gigs with all of those people before.
It might have
but it
been.
might have been a different one. It might have been Noah.
It might have been Noah.
Okay,
It
wait,
might have
sorry.
been Noah.
I think maybe I had COVID.
Damn.
That might have been what it was.
Yeah.
And then Noah was there, and that was the first time I'd seen Noah playing forever.
That's always fun. It's always fun to see Noah play. Yeah.
But I remember seeing you like the second or third time, and I was like, it was I kind of asked like, it's not terrifying not knowing what's like gonna happen next, and you're just like, dude, that's what I want. Like, you love that.
Yeah.
You're like, I love that. I
It's
love
like
not knowing what's happening next.
My old mentor and teacher in graduate school was this guy named Dana Hall, who's just like a monster player, just incredible. And he used to always say that you need to learn how to hear around corners.
Yeah. And
then you'll be dangerous. That's what he, and I was like, I don't really know what that means. But then like being put on the spot like that and gigs like that, and like playing with musicians that are like flexible and loose enough to like allow things to kind of take a hard left turn if they do. And like nobody's going to leave you just like hanging out to dry. Like it's
someone will pick you up.
Pretty empathetic musicians.
Yeah.
Like we're all here to do this like thing together. But it's pretty fun.
It's so much
when
fun.
you can kind of, and like playing with Mike Munson is that way too.
Yeah.
Where like everything is always a little bit like, okay, we're playing this way slower, way faster than we did last time. That's going to change everything about it. And so it's just like a lot of heads up bass running. And like Nick and I are always doing that, and just like checking in with each other and like watching for just like the tiniest little cues from a band leader, because everybody cues something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And like it almost feels like a superpower to like be able to just like on the fly kind of do it.
It's a good feeling. I think after we had that chat at White Squirrel, when you said that was something like that kind of changed in my brain, where I wanted to be able to do that.
Yeah, you gotta hear around corners.
If I'm sitting there like blown away by this band, and like no one really rehearsed it, but like it sounds like they've been doing it forever. It's so clean and tight, but it's also so loose, and that's what I loved about like the Mike Munson. I think I brought it up with Nick too. Just like the Mike Munson, that residency was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it was just a bunch of like, it was two maybe 3 hours of exactly that. Just like adapting every song.
unrehearsed and like a little bit of a heads up, like, hey, we're going to try this if you want to listen to the record and like blah, blah, blah. Like a little bit of that, but sometimes just like, it's in G.
Yeah.
Like, this is the change. I'll cue it. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's such a good feeling when it works out. Yeah. I was doing, for a couple weeks, I was the drummer at the new jam at Whitey's every Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
And like the first night of that was really fun because it was just like, oh, keys are doing this and bass is doing that. And this is the vibe. And I know, all right, just like backbeat and then get through it. And there's like you see here around the corners for these changes because you kind of, it's like Americana sort of funk.
Yeah.
Americana funk.
It's like, it's like funk, not Americana. Like, funk. It had all the same rules.
Sure.
It all kind of has rules that are,
I mean, it helps if
applicable.
Yeah, it helps a lot if you like the music that you're playing. Like if you're just a genuine fan of the kind of music that you're playing, and just makes things a hell of a lot easier.
It does. You get to put your own taste.
Yeah, and you kind of like you understand the vocabulary to the extent that there is one, or just like that's what my old teacher kind of meant. Learning to hear around corners was sort of like steeping yourself in the music and sort of like understanding like, you can kind of anticipate what's coming if you're like versed in it well enough just to sort of like make an educated guess or like, or not even at that point, it's not even a guess. You're kind of just like, yep, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing.
A decision.
I'm driving the bus.
Yeah. Making a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
fun.
Drums are fun.
Drums are really
so much fun.
I can't believe Richard hasn't been a part of this little part of the conversation.
Richard, do you like the drums too?
Do you also like the drums?
Doing? What's happening?
I'm just sitting back and they're talking about drums.
Yeah, it's super fun.
We're talking about how much fun they are.
No, they're terrible.
Sometimes.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love drums. Drums are great.
Incredible.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about drums. Drums are amazing. Drums and Lars can back me up on this. The thing that
Aurelio can't.
Drums
He couldn't.
Not authorized.
do that other instruments cannot do, and it puts a lot of work into drummer. I'm trying to keep this Lars oriented because this is a podcast about Lars. But
oh god,
if you're
terrible.
Drums are such a fundamental instrument in the context of a traditional band, right? 4 to 6 pieces. There's some guitar players. There's a bass player somewhere. There's somebody singing feelings that they wrote. And then if that's like the context of your group, drums are such a fundamental part. It's like it becomes acoustically the weights of those the feelings of those songs, right? And so if you're coming in as a drummer, you have so much responsibility. Not that you have to perform a responsibility, but what I'm saying is that this lies on you. Like you can shape the feeling and the weight of all of those performances, right? So if you're a light drummer, your performances are going to feel light. And if you're slamming, all of a sudden, everything's going to be rock. And if you're coming in as a sub, you have this really fine balance that you can ride of, am I going to deliver what this band is used to, or am I going to give them my own personality as a drummer? And because if you're doing that, you've shaped the entire evening with your feeling. Way more so than a bass player or a guitar player or even a singer. Like you can swap out a front person easier than you can swap out a drummer. So I think drums are an amazing instrument in that context. Yeah.
Powerful.
There you go.
I liked that a lot.
Very well put.
Yeah. Okay. This is why.
Kind of hurt me a little bit when you said that. It's easier to replace.
That you're replaceable.
It's a personal slight.
I agree. That was pretty mean.
But here's a really good example, right? Like Rolling Stones. Let's take the Rolling Stones, right? And Charlie Watts, rest his soul. But so Charlie, if you imagine the Rolling Stones with Charlie Watts, and then you replaced Mick Jagger with with Adele, right? Like polar opposites of performers, but the groove of the Rolling Stones is kind of going to be the same. And when Charlie Watts passed, and then they got Steve Jordan to cover on the drums, the whole thing got amped up in a completely different direction, you know? So it's hard to imagine. Or I guess maybe it's hard to think if you're not a drummer, like, well, no one can replace me. It would all be. But it kind of, as the shape, the weight of your whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you know? Totally. I think, honestly, before I met Aurelio, because I was playing in bands and stuff, but maybe it was the drummers that I was working with. But, like, I think once I met you and, like, listened to the way that you play, I think that was when I learned that there is a distinct vibe and feeling and sound with drummers. Like, I remember saying about you that I could listen to, like, 10 drummers without knowing who they are, and I could pick you out.
No way.
And I think I could,
That's
bro.
so sweet. Yeah.
I love the way you play. Yeah.
You should hear this guy. This guy plays fucking awesome. Dude,
No.
this guy is sick.
No, he's just blowing smoke.
No,
I just have fun.
no, yeah, right. And it's like so cool, dude.
I just have fun.
But yeah, I think, maybe prior to this relationship, I didn't get the drum thing.
That's cool.
And still
Yeah,
learning.
that's awesome. I mean, there's nothing that can tank you faster than a drummer that's on their own trip. Just like
living their best life. Doing their own thing.
all right. We're cool. Yeah.
What else? Should we rap or what's the vibe?
Oh, he answered the success question so early.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Should I try again?
No, you killed it.
No, you had a great answer. And it was just like appropriate, I think, based on like where the conversation was at the time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is there anything that you want to plug? Like
Yeah.
bands or music or your business? What's your business called? And
My business is just my name.
Lars Larson, piano
Rebuilding.
piano fixer upper.
Pretty much, yeah. No, I don't know. It's an interesting business in that it's not really like it's so niche that it's like my only clients are like people that already know I'm there doing it. It's not like there's no storefront. There's like no product to sell really other than just like whatever.
I've got a coworker whose dad, for his whole life, tuned pianos and is at the point where he will tune maybe 2 a year for like 2 people, and they pay him a ton of money. And occasionally, I think last summer he, I don't know if it was the Ordway or if it was the Minnesota Orchestra. They like sent him off to Germany to like curate a Steinway.
Yeah. I wonder if I know him.
His last name's Bunker.
Mark
Bunker?
Yeah.
Oh, no fucking way.
It's a small world, man.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, how many people go to Germany and curate pianos for like the orchestra? Yeah. And he, I suppose, I don't even need to be telling you. You probably kind of know what he does.
Yeah.
Gets to pick, 2 to 5 people a year, do the thing, and it pays.
Him and a guy named Mark Humphrey were the 2 techs that sort of took care of the SPCO and the Ordway and all these other things. And so they're both retired now. And the guy that took over for them is a buddy and colleague of mine named Adam Wozniak, who's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Small world.
Dude, there's 2 people in Minneapolis.
Yeah. We're doing it. And it's awesome. Super fun. Pianos.
Any music that you want to plug, like music that you have been a part of that's released, and or shows that you're playing, or just people that you work with? You don't have to. It's just the option to.
I would love to, for all of them. Yeah, I don't. When does this come out? Are we live?
It's
Live
live
stream.
right now.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's gonna be a bit.
I'll tell you who I'm playing with right now. But I don't know. Who knows what'll happen? Maybe
Who
I'll get
knows?
fired from all of those bands
by
then.
You might be in New York.
Maybe.
Who knows? You might be in Spain.
Germany? Is
I'd
that
love
where?
to go to
Might be
Spain.
Germany? What?
Yeah, I'd love to go to Spain.
Yeah.
Let's
or
go.
Germany.
Let's go book
Sure.
a gig in Spain. Let's
Okay.
just do it. Let's just play
Really nice wine,
Yeah.
good food.
yeah.
Well, okay, band idea: 3 drummers and a vocalist.
Cool.
Thoughts, Richard?
I think Richard, he's got
He's on
enough
board.
drums here that we could try it
Yeah,
out.
I know we could.
My long-term plan to shape this podcast with good ideas is finally starting to work. First, I invited him into my studio.
Success.
We got a bunch
Yeah.
of drummers lined up. Mhm. That's the definition of success.
Really nice drums just
Three
strewn
drummers,
about.
right?
Yeah.
Just like there's like an old lady on the floor casually.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
It was
Like calling.
very well thought out.
Calling
King
all of us.
Crimson, we all know King Crimson, right?
Yeah.
They went out on tour last year, the year before, I don't know, and they had 3 drummers on stage.
Whoa.
And
Sick.
they put them like up on the front of the stage.
Cool.
Heck yeah.
I was like, okay, that's pretty incredible. And
I'm
my
open to it.
My friend saw them and I was like, what did you think of the show? And he said, that's a lot of drums. So maybe it's not the best idea.
I'm sure there's a right way to do it.
Yeah. There's a right way, there's a wrong way.
We can figure it out.
Yeah, we'll know.
We're all smart people.
Perfect.
We'll pioneer it.
Okay. Break.
Oh, right. Yeah. And scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else to plug?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
play with Jack Klatt. I play with Mike Munson. I play with Sarah Morris. I play with Dead Man Winter. I play with Molly Mayer sometimes. I play with Molly Dean sometimes. I play with who else do I play with?
Did you already say Becky?
Play with Becky.
Becky Capel, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that? I don't know who else you would play with. You
There's a lot of people.
there's a lot. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, I should plug my White Squirrel gig.
Oh, yeah,
That's what
the
I
second
should do.
stringers,
Nick
yeah.
probably plugged it already. I'll
You
do
might
it
have,
again.
But you should, because it's your thing.
Yeah, we have. Well, it's our thing.
Your thing. It's your guy's thing.
I answer the emails.
It's your thing.
But yeah,
do the
we're
emails.
called the Second Stringers, and we play the first Wednesday of every month at the White Squirrel. It's Nick Salisbury and I and a guitar player named Blair Krivenek, and we usually have like a guest come on and join us. It's just fun.
Cool.
It's easy. It's fun.
So fun.
Yeah,
It's always free.
it's always free.
Always free. No money.
No money.
Good time.
I love that. I love going to the White Squirrel and not paying any money to be
Yeah.
there.
It's nice.
That's the shit.
Nice. You can put money in the tip jar if you want to. But you don't have to. It's not a requirement.
Okay, are we?
Spoken like a true Aries.
You could do it like Paul. Hey, everybody, there's a tip jar.
Yeah, we always play
Put it
the-
in the tip jar.
We always play I feel like if I'm on a gig with Paul and there's a tip jar, we always end up playing the tip jar boogie.
Yeah.
Which is just whatever Paul decides to set up, and this is some swinging thing.
That's
and
the thing. It's
it
like,
turns
all right.
that's the tip jar boogie.
This is the tip jar boogie.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it works. No, yeah, that's
that's
a
awesome.
good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready to say bye?
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We did it.
You did it.